but she had known Chris for years and very much respected his opinion. Dot was first introduced to Chris 10 years ago through a former colleague in cognitive psychology. Chris was working on a neuropsych study and had developed a software program that would interface with an EEG to pinpoint the exact location of activation inside the brain in conjunction with visual cues displayed on the computer. From the first time they chatted on the phone, Dot had felt a connection with Chris. When she saw his name on the short list of a nationwide search for the new dean of the department, Dot was thrilled at the prospect of working with Chris face to face. The more Dot learned about Chris, the more synchronicities were revealed about their past and the mutual people they each knew. Turns out Chris even once interviewed for a tenured position at the same time Dot was a postgrad at Carnegie Mellon University. Even now, their fathers both lived in the Carolinas only blocks away from one another, and Chris's younger sister was once engaged to Dot's college roommate's brother. If Dot believed in fate, she would have presumed that their paths were destined to meet. Indeed, that the universe had been conspiring for some time that these two individuals would encounter one another. The friendship that had ensued was rewarding, as well as thought-provoking, not only for Dot, but Jillian and Eli both enjoyed Chris's company and looked forward to the Saturday evenings he would come to the house for a home-cooked meal. As a widower for more than a dozen years, Chris led a simple, quiet life, if not also overextended with campus obligations. In every sense of the word, Chris had become part of the family. It was a very sad time for each of them when Dot left the ivory towers after becoming too sick to continue teaching. Yet while Dot had put most of her other campus relations on hold, she still looked forward to seeing Chris for Saturday supper, though some of the home cooking now came in the way of a cold antipasto and even on occasion store-bought whole grain rolls. Yet it was never about the food, though Chris was deeply grateful for the leftovers Dot would send home with him for the week ahead. There was something deeper, and almost in between the lines of their conversation, that would raise each of them to a place they would apperceive their true nature. So when Chris said that this place was kicking the conversation into high gear, Dot knew there was something here for her to explore. "I promise I'll check it out, Chris, whenever Grace gives me a chance." Dot ended with a sly wink emoticon. Then Dot's eyes grew wide as she saw Chris's character place both palms together and bow deeply at the waist in her direction.
Gasho.
Chris typed. "How did you do that?"
You get the Gasho action at level 3.
Chris chuckled. He knew that one would be a carrot for his colleague, and he tossed up a yellow smiley face with 3 red hearts. "How do I get to the different levels?"
Just play the game. Meet people and add them to your crew. Shop for some furnishings for your place, and hold an event at your home every now and then.
Chris paused with a sly wink smiley. "Okay, I'm intrigued, but I've got to go. Miss Jillian will be home from school in a little while."
Take care, my friend. I hope to see you around soon.
"I'm making lasagna on Saturday," Dot tempted, reminiscent of a scene from Murphy's Romance.
With your homemade pot cheese? Don't overdo it, kiddo.
"No, I'm making it in steps and freezing it after it is assembled, so there'll be nothing to do but enjoy on the weekend."
Good for you. Okay, I'll see you then.
"Gentle hugs your way too, Chris." And with that final thought, Chris's avatar vanished from the screen. Perfect timing, too, as Dot heard the slam of the front door, which had a bit too much insulation to latch any other way. "How was your first day, Miss Jellybean?" Dot hollered from her upstairs bedroom.
It was great, Mommy. I knew almost every girl in my class, and my teacher is amazing.
Dot heard the creak of Eli's office door. If anything would bring him out of his lair, it would be his darling daughter. Dot smiled and closed her eyes as she listened to the two of them talk about her day. Miss Jillian was a storyteller, much like her mom, and she could spin a tale about even homeroom period that seemed like headline news, at least in the eye of her papa. When Dot turned back to the computer, She realized that her avatar was still standing outside the front of her pretend home. She thought about clicking the exit button on the lower right-hand side of the screen, but opted to click the map instead. When Dot saw the icons for the various places she could visit, a tear came to her eye as she keyed into the word beach. Though less than an hour away, it had still been over 2 years since Dot had seen the Pacific Ocean and touched her toe in the water. She missed the sound of the waves and the smell of the sea breeze. Even the last trip to the beach was a hardship on her energy reserves, and over time, it had become increasingly difficult to go on a road trip. With bittersweet anticipation, Dot clicked the button to take her to the Lila shoreline.